captain lined all the men up along the railroad track, and he said, "Hey, boys, are you right? Done got right. Well, what I hate about the line and track, these old bars about to break my back." I said, "Oh, boys, can't you line the track? Oh, boys, can't you line them?" I said, "Oh, boys, can't you line the track? Oh, boys, can't you line them?" Man and the baby lying in the shade, talking about the money that they ain't made. I said, "Oh, boys, can't you line the track? Oh, boys, can't you line them?" I said, "Oh, boys, can't you line the track? Oh, boys, can't you line them?" Moses stood on the Red Sea shore, smoking that water with a 2x4. I said, "Oh, boys, can't you line the track? Oh, boys, can't you line them?" I said, "Oh, boys, can't you line the track? Oh, boys, can't you line them?" If I could, I surely would stand on the rock where Moses stood. I said, "Oh, boys, can't you line the track? Oh, boys, can't you line them?" I said, "Oh, boys, can't you line the track? Oh, boys, can't you line them?" Maybe right and I may be wrong. You gonna miss me when I'm gone. I said, "Oh, boys, can't you line the track? Oh, boys, can't you line them?" I said, "Oh, boys, can't you line the track? Oh, boys, can't you line them?" I said, "Oh, boys, can't you line the track? Oh, boys, can't you line them?" I said, "Oh, boys, can't you line the track? Oh, boys, can't you line them?"
I loved having this man here. Even though this is the first time we've ever met, Ed Henderson is in the studio with me along with Heather. Everybody say hi.
Hi.
Hi. And before we do anything else, I'm amazed. I love our listeners. They always amaze me. The keynote address at the Democratic Convention in 1976 was given for the first time by a woman and a black. They happen to be the same person. It was given by a congressperson from Texas. She was first elected in 1972. This woman was one of the first African Americans elected to Congress from the South since 1901. Who is she? She's Barbara Jordan. Congratulations to Malika Cohen from Springfield, to Jesse Cornell from Philadelphia, to Travis Smith from Ardsley, and Josh Hoey from Williamstown. Each of them is getting a prize from Kids Corner for knowing that. Okay, tell me about this song, Ed. Did you write Line and Track?
No, Line and Track is a traditional song. I'm not really sure where it came from. I first heard it on an album by Taj Mahal many years ago. It's about track liners. They were the men who would go out and manually straighten out the railroad ties, because when the train goes across the track hundreds and hundreds of times, they come loose. And sometimes these were prisoners, and they don't do that with labor anymore. It's done by machines, but that's what that song is about. It's sort of the rhythm of working, because these ties are pretty heavy, so you had to kind of move them at the same time.
And the rhythm of the song really is a chugga 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 chugga. It's really
right,
like a train.
They did it quite slower though, because it's kind of. But I speeded it up, kind of a poetic license, I guess.
I'm glad you did. This is a real busy time of year for you, isn't it?
Yes, I do a lot of school programs and library programs and programs hither, thither, and yon, all over.
And he's going to be doing one this Saturday. This Saturday at the Frankfurt Library at 2 p.m. And it's free, my favorite four-letter word. If you want more information, call the Frankfurt Library or the Free Library of Philadelphia. Can you give us kind of a hint of what you're going to be doing this Saturday? What kind of music?
All kinds of traditional Afro-American music, spirituals, play a little banjo, kids songs. I kind of play for whoever shows up. If a lot of little kids show up, I do a lot of little kids songs. If adults show up, I do a lot of blues and spirituals.
I gotta go. The history of the African-American people in this country is not really all that happy. How come music was such an important part of their lives? I mean, if you're a slave, how do you have the spirit to sing?
Well, people sing. People have fun no matter what the situation is. A lot of the kid songs the traditional kid songs came out of the Afro-American experience. And although it was a miserable situation, people get what joy they can out of whatever. Mm-hmm. So, of course, it was happier afterwards. But, even in poverty, even in very poor situations, you still find a wealth of music in every culture.
You got a song for us?
Certainly do. This is a chicken song. It's also a railroad song, another railroad song. It's called Cluck, Old Hen, and Heather's going to help me sing it. I'm going to play the banjo here. My old hen's a good old hen, she lays eggs for the railroad man. Sometimes one, sometimes two, sometimes enough for all the crew. Cluck, old hen, cluck all day, cluck, old hen, I'm going away. Cluck, old hen, cluck all day, cluck, old hen, I'm going away. Here today, gone again, lots of eggs for the railroad man. Sometimes three, sometimes four, don't complain if they ask for more. Cluck, old hen, cluck all day, cluck, old hen, I'm going away. Cluck, old hen, cluck all day, cluck, old hen, I'm going away. My old hen scratch and sing, don't give a care about anything. Cluck all day, cluck all night, keep on clucking till you get it right. Cluck, old hen, cluck all day, cluck, old hen, I'm going away. Cluck, old hen, cluck all day, cluck, old hen, I'm going away. My old hen sit and spin all day long for the railroad man. Cluck all night, cluck all day, cluck, old hen, I'm going away. Cluck, old hen, cluck all day, cluck, old hen, I'm going away. Cluck, old hen, cluck all day, cluck, old hen, I'm going away. My old hen, good old hen, she lays eggs for the railroad man. Sometimes one, sometimes two, sometimes enough for all the crew. Cluck, old hen, cluck all day, cluck, old hen, I'm going away. Cluck, old hen, cluck all day, cluck, old hen, I'm going away. Cluck, old hen, cluck all day, cluck, old hen, I'm going away. Cluck, old hen, cluck all day, cluck, old hen, I'm going away.
Yeah, right. Ed Henderson and Heather. Now, Ed, you're a fine singer, and I love the song and all, but Heather, I got to find out more about backup singing. Like, how do you know when to jump in and also when not to throw him off?
Well, first of all, we do a lot of practicing together. Practice makes everything perfect.
Yeah.
And if you don't practice, it just doesn't come out right. So, we get it together. We work together.
A lot of sweat, a lot of whips and chains. Work. No,
And that's
no
her
kidding.
with you, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it's really fun, but it is hard work because we do try to get it right and try to get it right before you go out and play for people.
How'd you learn these songs? 'Cause you're a young man. These songs are pretty old.
I learned from friends, from records. I've done quite a bit of research in Afro-American history. I read a lot of books. I think I banged your microphone now.
That's okay. I woke up to
We
three
all
people
do this,
sleeping.
okay. I do quite a bit of reading, and so when I run across a song that I like, I only do songs I like. There are quite a few songs out there that I never quite get around to, but I find something I like, I play it, and I'm pretty much self-taught, so it's a lot of sitting and just learning the hard way.
Are there any songs that have a story that's particularly meaningful to you?
Oh, so many. How many hours do we have here?
We only have a couple, so maybe just one story, one or two stories.
I used to do a song, I still do it occasionally. In fact, let me give you just a little bit of it. Yeah. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. That song was popularized by Leadbelly, and it's well known. And he had such a rough, tough, hard life. You just never associate a guy like that with a song that pretty. And I remember singing that song one time at a senior citizens home. And there was this lady who got up and stomped out, and I couldn't figure out why. And later on, I found out the problem was that when she was a kid, all the kids used to tease her, and her name was Irene, and that was the song they teased her with. So I went over and talked to her about it. She says, "Oh, it wasn't you. It's just that song has bad memories." But that's one of my favorite kind of sing-along kind of songs. I do a lot of sing-along.
I remember that song by the Weavers too.
The Weavers, yes, they helped popularize that song quite a bit.
Terrific. Speaking of songs, we have a music challenge going on, and I want to give an update on that. So far, Hangin' Tough has 69 votes. Love Shack has 43 votes, and you can call and vote at 898-8868 or 1-800-KIDS-XPN. Let's talk with Becky. Becky's calling us from the Paul V. Fly School, and Becky's from Norristown, and she's here for the first time. Hi, Becky.
Hi.
Hi, got a question for Ed and Heather?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I play the violin, and I was wondering, Did you ever get tired of practicing?
Let me see. First of all, I want to see your fingers for just a moment. You've got fine-looking fingers, but it looks like some calluses there.
Yeah, guitars, unfortunately, they really batter your fingers. Do I get tired of practicing? Not really, because I'm a fanatic. I practice every day because I really love to do it. Some people I know who do get tired and they stop, but if you really like it, you never get tired.
Okay, Heather, we've heard his story. Now the truth.
I have to tell you, when I was young, I played the violin, and it was my favorite instrument, and I loved to practice. And I tell you, play and practice as much as you can, because when you get older, you will benefit from it, and you, trust me, you will love it, and you'll be so glad that you practice those long hours when you get older, because you'll be able to play beautiful music.
That's so great. But doesn't it get real heavy on your shoulder?
No, once you get used to it, you know, you love it.
Becky?
Yeah?
Listen to this woman. She's a musician, okay?
I don't know.
Okay, thanks a lot, Becky.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye now. Have you got some more music for us?
You had a request.
I sure did.
Okay, we're going to do Keep Your Eyes on the Prize. This is a very old spiritual, and it has meaning for me because when I was preteen, I lived in Memphis, Tennessee, and it was about the time where there was a lot of civil rights demonstration going on. And this song also means a lot now because you look at all the upheaval in all the countries around the world. This song probably has a great deal of meaning in Germany and Czechoslovakia as it had with the civil rights movement. So let's get into it. Paul and Silas, bound in jail, had no money to go their bail. Keep their eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. The very moment I thought I was lost, the dungeon shook and the chains fell off. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. The only thing that we done wrong was staying in the wilderness too long. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. The only thing that we done right was the day we begun to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody here was just rocking back and forth. And remember, Eyes on the Prize is on tonight on Channel 23, Monday nights on Channel 39 and Channel 12, the Eyes on the Prize TV show. This is African American History Month, and we took a poll a couple of weeks ago about what person from black history do you admire most. And overwhelmingly, kids said Martin Luther King Jr., which is fine. It's probably the most famous person from the civil rights struggle. But there's so many other people who kids may not be as familiar with. Is there anybody that comes to your mind right away?
Well, my real expertise is more on the black musicians that pretty much kind of got lost in the shuffle. You know, when you talk about pop music, one of the things that's very interesting is in the 60s, the Beatles, the Stones, the Who, Eric Clapton, all those people were listening to black blues players from the South. People like Mississippi John Hurt, Robert Johnson, Flurry Lewis. There's a long list of them. And they got a lot of their inspiration from those people. And it was at a time when we weren't listening to that kind of music much here. And it came back to us in the form of blues from the Animals, from Cream, Eric Clapton, the Yardbirds. And so I think that's a whole crowd of people that really need a lot more expounding on. And so, as I said, that's really more my field of history and expertise. But I like to read about all of them. Robert Johnson, for example, was probably the greatest slide guitar player. And whenever you hear some of the people now who play slide guitar, inevitably they are copying what he did, and he recorded in the 1930s.
And he didn't record much at all.
He recorded, I think, the equivalent of 2 full LPs. He died very young. And violently, but whenever you hear Johnny Winter, Ry Cooder, the Allman Brothers, all those people, all those slide guitar licks they play are straight off of his album, because there's never been anything better.
This is the time of year. Well, no, every month is the time of year to find out all you can about our history, about the music and everything that goes into making us what we are. I know I only asked you for 2 songs, but do you have maybe one more we could sneak in before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I can do a little bit of...
Thank you.
Wait, do you like this one? You don't? Oh, no, you like this one. We'll do. We're having a conference here.
I like that. That's great.
I'll do a little bit of This Little Light of Mine.
I knew you
which
were going to
hasn't,
do that one.
right, which Heather hasn't sung with me recently until tonight, I think. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around this world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around this world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around this world, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around this town, I'm gonna let it shine. All around this town, I'm gonna let it shine. All around this town, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Great. Ed Henderson, Heather Henderson. We're going to get you back here? We will get you back here.
Yes, I'm going to be at the International Children's Festival at Annenberg Center in May, so maybe we can come back around then.
Definitely. And don't forget the Frankfurt Library this Saturday at 2 o'clock. Call the Frankfurt branch or call the Free Library of Philadelphia for more information. And if you go up to them and tell them you heard them on Kids Corner, okay? Here's Stevie Wonder.
Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. You just call him up and tell him what you want. Sick in bed and you can't get right, tell him what you want.
Sick in bed and you can't get right. Tell him what you want. Sick in bed and you can't get right. Tell him what you want. You just call him up and tell him what you want. You call him in the morning, tell him what you want. Call him in the morning, tell him what you want. Call him in the morning, tell him what you want. You just call him up and tell him what you want. Since I laid my burden down, glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burdens down, I'm going home to live with Jesus. Since I laid my burden down, I'm going home to live with Jesus. Since I laid my burdens down, I'm gonna shake glad hands with the angels. Since I laid my burdens down, I'm gonna shake glad hands with the angels. Since I laid my burdens down, glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burdens down, glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burdens down.
Sounds like my cue to come back here. Ed Henderson is my guest this morning here on Homegrown on WXPN in Philadelphia. He's doing a number of performances in the area, especially tailored for Black History Month, so I guess we can start there, huh?
Okay. I'm playing at the Frankfurt Library this weekend. I think it's on Saturday around 2 o'clock, and it's a free program for all ages. And I'm going to do a variety of things, a little blues, some spirituals, some traditional folk songs that started out in the black community, which pretty much covers a lot of the music that I'm doing right now in schools and libraries and places like that.
Well, what about that last one you just did there? That was obviously a medley. Is that something you do to say, well, here's an example of familiar things, or what?
Well,
I mean, they're not songs that are always done together, right?
Right. Well, what happened was I had two short songs, and I really didn't have much to kind of put between them, so I strung them together, okay. And they're pretty much inspired by the playing of Mississippi John Hurt, who was one of my first folk music idols. So I don't really do a lot of his music these days, so I thought, well, this is a good way to get a couple
honor
tunes
him,
in.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. How was he your idol? Did you know him? You're from Tennessee, but he wasn't playing around there.
Well, you have to understand, when I first started playing guitar, when I got from just playing chords to actually playing some music, for some reason his were the first records I picked up because there were available transcripts of the music. And then I met Philadelphia Jerry Ricks, who was a personal friend of John's, and he kind of filled in some of the gaps on the kind of things that I couldn't learn from books and records. Anyway, I just listened to a lot of John Hurt in the beginning, and I thought his music is so simple yet so complicated and very pleasing. So that was one of my big influences in the very beginning of playing guitar.
So you weren't actually starting off then down in Tennessee to play
No,
guitar?
Strangely enough, I moved out of Tennessee when I was 19, and I really didn't start playing guitar till I was an adult. And so it sort
How
of
do you
worked.
Figure that?
I don't know. It just happened that way. I
Okay.
never asked these things.
Well, that's my job.
But, it just happened. Actually, I think I told a reporter not too long ago that I started playing out of just sheer boredom. There was a guitar left at my house, and I picked it up and started fooling around with it, and it became an addiction. So that's how that started.
So where was it you knew Jerry Ricks from? Philadelphia Guitar Workshop?
Well, I needed a guitar teacher when I was going to Temple, and I asked around, and someone recommended Jerry, and we became pretty good friends after that. I didn't take lessons from him too long, but we kind of reacquainted ourselves recently, and I've been traveling to Europe, and he's very big over there, and so he's been a good friend, more than a teacher lately, but he's a wonderful musician.
Okay, well, why don't we take a break for a little bit of music here and then talk some more after that?
All right. This is a tune called Wild About My Lovin'. Listen here, people, about to sing this song. Going back to Memphis, but it won't take me long, 'cause I'm wild about my lovin', like I have my fun. Won't be a girl of mine, you better bring it with you when you come. Ain't no Iceman, son, but I can keep you cool until that Iceman comes, 'cause I'm wild about my lovin', like to have my fun. Won't be a girl of mine, you better bring it with you when you come. Sergeant, please. When around hell they won't give me no peace, 'cause I'm wild about my lovin', like to have my fun. Won't be a girl of mine, you better bring it with you when you come. No fireman, son, but I can keep you warm until that fireman comes, 'cause I'm wild about my lovin', like to have my fun. Won't be a girl of mine, you better bring it with you when you come. I said, listen here, people, I'm about to sing this song. Going back to Memphis, but it won't take me long, 'cause I'm wild about my lovin', like to have my fun. Won't be a girl of mine, you better bring it with you when you come.
Ed Henderson is my guest this morning here on Homegrown, playing live in the studio. It looks like he's getting ready to change instruments, so I guess I'll cover for him. He's going to be giving a free performance this coming Saturday at 2 in the afternoon. Stop me if I'm wrong. Does that sound right? Yes?
2 in the afternoon, Frankfurt Library. That's
okay.
At the corner of Frankfurt and Overington, I think.
Well, certainly you can call the library system for details about that particular address, because I don't know, but it's up there someplace. And he's going to give us something on the banjo now. Give us a little background on this. You have traced the history of the music here, so why don't you share a little of that with us?
Well, the banjo is a very interesting instrument because it was the forerunner or the grandfather of the banjo started out in Africa a bunch of years ago, and it came over here with the slaves, and it was a really, really popular instrument in the late 1800s. In fact, it was more popular than the guitar. And I took up the banjo kind of, again, out of accident. A friend of mine had one, and he loaned it to me, and I started playing. So being pretty much self-taught, it was one of those things where I just sort of struggled through the books and hounded friends until they told me this and that. And I'm not a real banjo player. I'm just a sometimes banjo player.
How do you distinguish a real one from a sometimes?
Well, you played a tune by Peter Tawney and the Juggernaut String Band. Peter's a real banjo player. He knows all the licks. And he knows a couple hundred songs and
knows how to play the mummers style and he can play the bluegrass style.
Peter plays rings around me. I'm just a guy who picks up the banjo and like strums a few tunes on it occasionally.
Okay. But you're not Pete Seeger either.
No, not quite.
Okay. Well, listen, before we have that piece from you, let's have a short message here from Russan Bucci, okay? Ed Henderson is my guest this morning, and he's going to share with us one of the pieces you might be able to hear at the Frankfurt Library this coming Saturday.
This song is called Sail Away Ladies, Sail Away. Now, I have to apologize because, as I said, I'm not a real banjo player. This is kind of a made-up version that came from this friend and that friend. You probably won't find it in too many books or anything. Ever I get my new house done, sail away, ladies, sail away, give my old one to my son. Sail away, ladies, sail away, don't you rock 'em a hidey-ho, don't you rock 'em a hidey-ho, don't you rock 'em a hidey-ho, don't you rock 'em a hidey-ho. Chew my tobacco, spit my juice, sail away, ladies, sail away, love my daughter, but it ain't no use. Sail away, ladies, sail away, don't you rock 'em a hidey-ho, don't you rock 'em a hidey-ho, don't you rock 'em a hidey-ho, don't you rock 'em a hidey-ho. Just got a letter from Charlottetown, sail away, ladies, sail away, old St. Louis burning down. Sail away, ladies, sail away, don't you rock 'em a hidey-ho, don't you rock 'em a hidey-ho, don't you rock 'em a hidey-ho, don't you rock 'em a hidey-ho. Get my new house done, sail away, ladies, sail away, give my old one to my son. Sail away, ladies, sail away, don't you rock 'em a hidey-ho, 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 don't you rock 'em a hidey-ho.
Ed Henderson live on Homegrown on WXPN in Philadelphia. Changing instruments again, I see. One of these restless kind of performers. And, you know, you've told us now that you're really a revivalist. This isn't something that was passed down to you. So what did you actually listen to back home in wherever it was, Tennessee?
Well, I mean, I'm a revivalist, but in a way it was passed down. Like
how you figure that?
Well, the first song I did, Jesus on the Main Line, the first time I remember hearing that.
In church.
Well, my mother listened to gospel music constantly. In fact, that's what she wanted to hear on the radio, and we only listened to the other stuff when she was out of the room. And I spent a lot of time, many hours logged in going to Sunday school when I was little. So a lot of the songs I actually heard, but I didn't start playing them until I was an adult. And what happened was I found these little melodies running through my head, and so I would go dig up the real words for them. So in a way it was handed down that way. And in terms of being a revivalist, it's one of those deals where you know, you learn from where you can. You know, I guess if I had been down south hanging around a lot of old blues musicians, I would have picked it up that way. But to be honest with you, I picked up most of my music in coffee houses in the Northeast.
Name some.
Well, the Perimeter at Rutgers, which was the first place I really saw a lot of folk music. It happened to be about 10 blocks from where I lived. So I went there. Ann Deeney is running that now, and that was like a big influence because I kind of ran into dozens and dozens of musicians who knew a lot about these songs. And kind of what happened was I would hear a tune, then I'd go digging to find out where it came from, and then I would find out it came like 40 miles from where I used to live. So it's kind of a strange kind of search and seizure mission. You know, you just look and look. So I have to admit I'm a great fan of the Beatles and rock and roll and all the 60s Beatle British invasion groups, because that's when I was first really listening to music as a teenager. So I like all that stuff too. But, I choose to play this in a sense because it's very simple and something I can do well. So.
Well, there you go. Actually, this isn't what you're doing full time, is it? What is it you're doing the rest of the time? Come on, confess it. Confess it.
Please don't make me tell.
Oh, well, you don't have to.
I'm an EKG analyst for a large medical corporation. I sit in front of a computer 40 hours a week. Right? Yes, the big
I'm coming.
one or the little one. I'm giving that up very soon.
Is that right?
Yes.
How exciting!
Yes, as of April, I'm just going to kind of go out and attempt to actually be a musician. I'm putting in a stock of canned goods so I don't starve to death. And I'm taking off to Europe for a bit in April to bum around, and there are a lot of opportunities there. I'm recording a record. I'm getting an agent and a manager and press kits and all those things to be like a real bona fide, honest to God, full-time, sometimes working, maybe working musician.
Have you got a place where people can contact you about this sort of thing?
Well, good question. You can call me. You can call.
Okay.
They can call you.
Very good.
I mean, I don't know if I should give a phone number here. I don't know if I want all that crank mail or anything.
Oh well, okay. Well,
but they
let them
if
get a
anybody's
hold of
really
me.
curious,
That's right.
they can call you here, and you can kind of refer them to me. But I'm going to have agents and people like that handle that kind of stuff, and
you'll be keeping us apprised of your future
I will.
developments.
I'll let you know. Hopefully, I'll have some music you can play on the station.
That'll be great.
Yes.
Well, we won't keep you here all morning, so let's ask for one more from you.
This is kind of a revamped, revivalist version of Police Dog Blues, and it's not the version that Blind Blake, who did this originally, did. This is a version that I kind of made up as I was putting things together. All my life I've been a traveling man. All my life I've been a traveling man, staying alone and doing the best I can. I had a gal, couldn't get her off my mind. I had a gal, couldn't get her off my mind. She passed me up saying she didn't like my kind. I was scared to bother around her house at night. Scared to bother around her house at night. She's got a police dog, crazy for a fight. When he barks, he goes like this. He takes to rambling when he gets the chance. He takes to rambling when he gets the chance. He leaves his mark on everybody's pants. I guess I'll travel, guess I'll let her be. Guess I'll travel, guess I'll let her be. Before she sicks that police dog on me, gonna go far.
Many thanks to Ed Henderson for joining us here this morning on
Thank you for
Homegrown.
having me.
All right. And a reminder that you'll have a chance to enjoy him live in performance, and not only that, the price is right.